Meter signatures are numbers placed on the staff to indicate beats per measure. There are a variety of meter signatures, but the two most common ones we will discuss are simple and compound. Part 1, this video, will deal specifically with the simple meter. I will do a second video on compound meter. Meter signs look like fractions. In simple meter, the numerator, that top number, indicates how many beats per measure. The denominator, the bottom number, indicates what the beat unit is. In other words, what note will represent one beat. So, simple meters here that we see are 4/4, 3/4, and 2/4. 2/4 is theoretically identified as simple duple, 3/4 as simple triple, and 4/4 as simple quadruple. It is helpful if you can remember that simple meter will either have a 2, 3, or 4 as the numerator. Now let's take a look at simple quadruple. Okay, now the basic fill for simple quadruple would be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice that I'm accenting beat 1 and with the third beat I'm also kind of stressing it, but at a lesser degree. This will make it easier for one to hear the 4 beats per measure. Again, this time I'll clap it so that you can hear it. Okay, now let's take a look at simple triple. The basic fill would be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, this simple triple is often referred as waltz time. Now, in looking at the next example, note that the 2/4 represents 2 quarter notes, okay, 2 beats per measure. It has the basic fill of 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, I will play one of these, and I want you to guess which one it is. If you said simple triple, you're correct. Good job. Now that we understand simple meter, where there are either 2, 3, or 4 beats per measure, let us move to the beat unit, which is represented as the denominator or the bottom number. Okay, now on this page are all examples of simple quadruple meter, as indicated by the top number of 4, telling us that there are 4 beats per measure. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Now, what makes this noteworthy is the denominator of each example is a little bit different. Let's take a look here. Here we have the denominator. Here we have 4. Here we have 2. Here we have 8. The denominator is telling us what the beat unit, which note is receiving one beat. So, for example, in 4/4, the beat unit is the quarter note. So therefore, the quarter note is going to get 1 beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's take a look at 4/2. 4/2 is telling us that this 2 is the half note. And the half note now gets 1 beat. It's the beat unit. 1, 2, 3, 4. All of these are still simple quadruple beats, or simple quadruple, so that you're feeling 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just the beat unit is different. Okay, now let's take a look at this last example, which is 4/8. And in 4/8, it's telling me that the 8th note is going to get 1 beat. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So, still simple quadruple because there are still 4 beats per measure. Again, the beat unit is what's making it. The beat unit is, it depends on what that denominator is. So, now what makes simple meter distinguished from a compound meter is that these beats can be divided by 2. So we call them the beat division. So what you need to know is therefore that the quarter note can be divided into 2 because it takes 2 eighth notes to equal to a quarter note. So here's a quarter note, takes 2 eighth notes to equal to that quarter note. So I have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the beat unit is the quarter note, okay? And the division is the eighth notes. So I'll just say div. Okay, now let's take a look at this next one where the half note is the beat unit. Okay, so if I was to divide that half note into 2, it would be 2 quarter notes would equal to that half note. So let me just write it out. So if I was to count this, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so the beat unit is the half note. Okay, that's the BU. And the division is the eighth note. The division is the quarter note. Okay, now let's take a look at when the beat unit is the eighth note. Okay, so here is my beat unit. Do you know what the division would be? If you said 16th, you're correct. So we have 16th, and I'm trying to squeeze it in here so that you can see it. So let's go ahead and just look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So we have, we can see here what the beat unit was and also what the division of those beats are. Now let's go on to the next, and we're going to take a look at simple triple, and you already have a feel for how it goes. 3 beats per measure. Here we see that the quarter note's going to get 1 beat. I think, let's go ahead and just try this. So we have 1, 2, 3. 3 beats per measure. And this beat unit is the quarter note, and the division is going to be eighth notes, 2 eighths. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, 3 8 is 3 beats per measure. Of course, we know that's with the top, but let's take a look at the denominator. So the eighth note is going to get a beat. That's the beat unit. Okay. And if I was to divide that eighth note into half, it would be 2/16. Oops, I was going to have you answer that, but that's okay. So let's clap it together. Okay, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3, and do it again. 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and. What you need to know is the beat units just gives us a lot of flexibility. I mean, you know, whether it's a 4 or an 8. Okay, let's take a look at this. 3/16, again, 3 beats per measure. What's the beat unit? The beat unit is going to be, of course, the 16th note. Okay. So if I was to divide this, okay, let's just think about this. The division would be 32nd notes, okay? And 32nd notes have 3 flags. Okay. You know, oftentimes people look at notes, and when they start seeing all of these flags, they get nervous. But all you have to do is break it down. It makes it so much easier. Okay, so let's go ahead and clap the 3/16. Ready? And 1, 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and do it again. 2, 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Oh, good job. Now let's just take a look at simple duple. And this time I'm going to give you just a moment, probably about 15 seconds or so. It's going to seem like a long time for you to figure out each of these. So what you're trying to do is tell me how many beats per measure, and then what the beat unit is, and then also what the division is. Okay, let's take a look at this. Here we have 2/4, which is telling us that there are two. The beat unit is the quarter note, okay, and there's 2 beats per measure. So here I've got the quarter, which is the beat unit. The subdivision would be 1/8 notes. And to count is simple duple 1, 2. So clapping it would be 1, 2, 1, and 2, and. Okay, let's take a look at this next one. And I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to put a star beside it. Okay, this next one is 2, 2. And 2, 2 has 2 beats per measure. Okay, the top number is telling us the 2. But the bottom number is going to tell us what the beat unit is. And the beat unit is, good, half note. Okay. And if that's the beat unit, then what is the division? 2 quarter notes equals to a half note. Okay, so let's go ahead and clap out this rhythm. 2 beats, simple duple, 2 beats per measure. 1, 2, 1 and 2, and again 1, 2, 1 and 2, and. Okay, now the reason that I put a star beside that is sometimes we will see this indicated as cut time. Okay, every once in a while, cut time is just 2, 2. It's just another symbol that they use to indicate the 2, 2. It's only used for 2, 2. It's not going to be used for 2, 4 or 2, 8. Okay, now let's take a look at the next one, and we have 2, 8. So we've got our beat unit, 8th note. I know you already said that. So nice little 8th note here, 8th note here, and the division, of course, is the 16ths. Okay, and there we have it. So let's go ahead and clap out this rhythm. 1, 2, 1, and 2, and. Okay, pretty good. Now what I want to do is I'd like to have take a look at the terms that you have already learned in this very quick video. Okay, simple meter signatures, beats per measure, beat units. You know, we've talked about in simple meter that you're only going to have 2, 3, or 4 beats per measure. Just remember that. That's really important, that's all you're going to have. You're not going to have 5 or 7 or 6. We'll talk about those later, but just remember simple, very simple, 2, 3, and 4. And then we also talked about the beat units, and here we had half notes as a beat unit, quarter notes, 8th notes, 16th. You can have 32nd notes as a beat unit. You can even have whole notes as a beat unit. It's unlimited, okay? The limit is your unlimited by your imagination, or limited by your imagination. I forget how that goes. So anyway, and of course the division of the beat, which you take the beat unit and you can divide it into 2. Okay, let's take a look at the next And this is some rhythm fun that I wanted to share with you. So here we have 4/4, and I'm going to star this because 4/4 can also be written as C, a big C. And that big C means common time because, believe it or not, oftentimes, a lot of music is written in 4 beats per measure. Okay, that's simple quadruple. So let's take a look at line 1, 4/4. The beat unit is, of course, the quarter note, and there's 4 beats per measure. So we have here 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if I was to tie the 2 quarter notes together, and I'm just going to do it up here. If I was to tie the 2 quarter notes together, that would equal to a half note, which is indicated here. So if you take a look at how this works, the second line right here, you're going to see that half note on beat 3, but you're going to sustain it also on beat 4. So it has that idea, that tie that I did up here. So these two equal to a half note. Okay, so let's clap out the second line. Ready? And 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay, see how that I sustained that wonderful half note. Now let's take a look at the third line, in which what we have here is we did the division. So we've got, we divided the quarter note into 2. Of course, that equals to 2/8. So we can see that right here. I'll just put a little star beside it. Okay, I don't want to get too much in the way here. And we see that happening on beat 2 and beat 4. Okay, so when I count this, I'm actually going to count this 1, 2, and 3, 4, and. So let's clap that that third line. Let's do it twice, just so that we can feel it. Okay? And it's going to be 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and okay. So that gives us that sense of it. And then the next one is what I did is I divided the 8th note, as you can see right here. I divided the 8th note into 2 16th notes. So what we have here is now it's going to really become very quick when we get to those 2 16ths. So when I count it, I count 1, 2, and 3, 4, and Now just remember that these 16th notes are coming on the and. Why? Because we still have the first half of that 8th note, and these two equal to an 8th note. So we're just breaking it down, making it easy. So let's go ahead and clap out that 4th line. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1. Okay, and let's clap out from the very top, and then I'll work backwards. So we'll start on line 1 together. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just a little way of looking at that.